I'm Sherry Thompson, aka Mama Lou. Yeah, that's the brand. This is the OurStory Podcast, and we are here at Africa Global Radio. Our story, our growth, our future. Woo-wee! Today, we are going into the deep spaces and places. And I'm doing it with my good friend, Adiepna Mintah. Mama.
Yes,
it's
Mama.
So glorious to see you here. And we did pray too. So you know we going into the spiritual realm.
Yes.
Yes. The first time I met you, you were doing a miracle. You were feeding people free food. Who does that? We were at the Veg Fest.
Yeah.
At it was Christ the King.
Yes, Christ the King.
And I walked over and I'm, thinking that I'm going to have a little taste of whatever you're doing. Girlfriend filled up a little dish and had a lunch. And then she said it was on the house. On whose house? Her house. Wow. So impressed was I that fast friendship came about at that moment. It was Dandelion, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Tell us a little bit about Dandelion Ghana.
Okay, so my name is Adiepena Mintah.
Okay, so
yes.
All of that up inside there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Dandelion.
Okay, so my name is Sherry Ann Elizabeth Bernadette Donaldson.
Yes, I do.
Ha So that you know. Okay. That's how I know I come from Ghana.
That's right.
All right.
Yes, so Dandelion Ghana is an NGO now. At the time that we met, it was a restaurant. A special diet restaurant, but it evolved into an NGO when the support of those who are desolate or isolated, especially those with children in their care. So that's what we do. So feeding families, particularly those with children, is one of our mandate. But another way that we render our service to the community is through storytelling. Because if you can change the mind, you can change people. And that's why we take storytelling. It's very pivotal in our advocacy.
So
yes.
You're helping people to not only get a fish, but catch a fish.
Catch a fish.
That's the mindset change. Because to be very honest with you, folks like free things. Yeah, they love free stuff. Did you see the rice packages with the people's names on it? I thought that was wild. Election time, yeah. Everybody was looking for freedom rice. Yes. Sorry. I didn't say it. Woo! We like free stuff. Yes. So that caught me. That free food, and it was delicious too.
Yeah.
And it was not only delicious, but you had it cooked in a
earthy
clay
pot.
Yeah.
Yes.
A clay earthy pot.
Yeah.
Earthenware.
Yes.
We call that earthenware.
Yeah.
So you don't use metal at all?
No, not at all.
Tell me why.
You see, with the clay pots, they can't be violated, but they can break. So when you cook in a clay pot, you are actually presenting something that is very pure to whoever is going to eat or for yourself to eat. And when I call it the theology of accommodation, everything that you see on this earth contains something. And it's about what is in it. And you can't talk about clay pots without talking about how it came about in the first place.
You make it.
Yes, how you make it. But even you create it. And in Ghana, there's a fantastic story about how the first clay pot was made. And I think when you hear that story...
Can you tell us a little bit?
Yes, I would love to. It's about Osra Abojo. She's my hero now. I mean, next to my mom. And it's in Asante Tafo. So a long, long time ago, like even before the British or the Portuguese even found Ghana, there were a group of women in Tafo, Asante Tafo, who were, in those days, people will roast the food on open fire, or will pound it, or will chew it raw, and we go our separate ways. Women during that time were very lean and fit and very strong, and you won't find them overweight. And I know that now you see a lot of overweight women, and
But
we think we weren't like that. No, it all changed after a certain era. But back to Osra Bojo, she was tired. She was a mother. And she was tired of eating that kind of way because you lose your teeth even before you grow old. And she needed to do something about it. So, guess what she did?
Is that where the chew stick comes from?
No.
Okay, nah.
So she prayed. And it was during the time where it was perceived that nobody could talk to God directly. I mean, when you go to our African setting, we have a concept of God, the creator, or Bonomankoma or Domankoma, but we don't have any way of speaking to him. We do it through the rivers, through the suman, as in the trees, because
through his creation.
But this woman was brave, and she said, I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm going to talk to the Maker himself. And so she woke up and she had, get up, go here. Pick this, mold it this way, mold it that way. And then she made the first clay pot. Look, when she actually cooked in it successfully, the women in the area danced and there was music composed to her honor. And now there's still music like that to her, tributes through songs to Osra Abojo. And guess what? She didn't sell it. She gave every household one pot for free, and eventually she started battering it for food. So it gives you the idea that when God gives you something, you also have to go back to him to find out how to share it with the community.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's not just for you.
It's not just for you.
It's for the benefit of everybody.
And what I like about her story is that she gave it out for free. When God said, give it away for free, I mean, now people will say, it's a business. How do I sustain it?
There you go.
Yes.
Obedience is better than sacrifice. Yes.
Sacrifice.
Don't be sacrificing. Be obedient.
Yeah.
Amen.
So anytime you cook in her pot or any clay pot, even now, the women in Asante, in Kweu, some are coming from Tafo, the way they make the pots, they can hear the voice of God. Some time back, I thought I was going nuts when I said that I could hear the voice of God because God was directing my path. And I went to Kweu and I bought a pot from this woman. And she asked me, can you hear? I thought that was a secret that I was keeping. But she came to me and she said,
it wasn't a
if you
secret.
can't hear, there's something at the back here that you can pour into your ears so that you can hear him, because you're cooking in the earthy pots. It's a very spiritual exercise that you're about to embark on. So I saw that, wow, I'm not the only person who can hear the voice of God. And cooking in the pots, I had a problem. And by cooking in the pots, that problem was solved.
Tell us the problem.
So I had aluminium calcification. There was a lot of aluminium in my system. I didn't know what it meant, but then I did a test in a quantum physician because I went to the general hospital and they didn't know what was wrong with me. But my cousin is a quantum physician in the UK, and she put me on a machine, and everything that was wrong with me was revealed. And I said, how do I deal with it? She said, there's this cookware that you can, I think it's titanium, that you can buy.
Titanium.
Yes.
Expensive part.
Yes. And I
different from clay pot too. I say, go down.
Yes, exactly.
Go down.
When she was saying it, I was like, no, it's not possible. It's not possible.
Clay. Earthyware.
No, I didn't even.
Earthenware.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Oh,
It wasn't even an option.
titanium, huh?
Yeah, no, the earthy
Townspeople,
pots.
they actually mentioned that word to you.
Yeah, no,
Thinking what? What did they think?
no.
Were
She
they going to
said
buy it for you?
no.
Don't
You
mind
know,
them.
and one set is like
Kafwida.
you can't afford it. But I kept on thinking, how can the average family
Yeah.
acquire something like this? So I prayed, and God said, "What about the earthy pots? Why don't I said earthy pots? Earthy pots? No, I'm a modern Ghanaian. I don't need earthy pots. And plus, when you go to the
You look
market,
so traditional.
yes, yeah.
I have blender. I have blender. I'm
Yes.
blending.
yes.
No asanka for me, oh. No stone rubbing for me, oh. Wow.
So I said that I'm a modern Ghanaian. I don't want to go the earthy way. But God reminded me that when I was in secondary school, I didn't like the tin. My mom is a food technologist.
Okay.
And because she wasn't present, she will can everything that we eat. And then she can go and work the whole time and we'll not have to call her to come and cook. So we always pick off the shelf and eat from the shelf. So most of the time our food was in a can.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of where you got the mineral situation.
Look, it started from there.
If everything was in a can.
Everything was in a can.
Wow.
Everything was
so
in a can.
the metals were coming into you left,
Everything.
right, and center.
I could taste metal anytime. Even when I eat sardines, I can taste the metal like it was like I was chewing it. And when I cook in it, it was so bad I could chew. It felt like I was chewing metal. So when God said, "Okay, you were doing this in school," I said, "Yes, it's possible." So I went back to the market and bought a few pots and went to the Volta region, bought a few pots, went to Kwao. And
Look at how you visited the place.
yes, it was fun. Then I started selling them because I fell in love with them. And people came to me with similar problems. And I said, try the earthy pot. And it started from there. And I saw that God called me out of the restaurant. He said, no, this is the time to leave the restaurant because he said, now do the free food. There are people walking around who need a certain kind of healing and they can't have it from anywhere else because you are the only person cooking
That's doing this
in an earthy pot. So I said, okay, then I'll cook it and you say, let it go for free. I said, how am I going to sustain it? He said, let it go for free. Then I'll let it go for free. So and then we went to the prisons.
Yes. I was just about to get there. You have not heard anything yet. You called me up and you kept on saying, we're going to the prisons. I know I didn't do anything to go to no prison. We're going to the prisons to feed the inmates. How many inmates are we feeding?
3,000.
Over 3,000 inmates. We are giving them food for free. Did you hear that? See, caterers, have you heard me? Okay, 3,000 inmates and we gave them food for free. And it took all day to cook that food.
Yeah.
From the morning, we started the day before.
Yeah.
Prepping for the day before. I came when the lights were on because I'm not trying to be in the dark with no food cooking. Okay, so the sun was up. I'm strolling in there, riding in there. Yeah, I'm ready. Honey, I was not ready. I mean, I had never seen cooking like this before. I mean, we kept it going and going and going. And these people enjoyed the food because you wrapped it in leaves.
Yeah.
And the taste of that leaf. I mean, this is what we used to do traditionally. Now we're like, I have blender, you know. And it was wonderful.
Thank you.
I just remember folks saying, is there more? I'm like, does this look like Oliver Twist to you? Oh, not Charles Dickens here, baby. It's not that time of the month. It's not happening here like this, okay? Wow, dandelion. I felt like I was feeding the 5,000. Really. Yeah. I felt like that's what we were doing.
Yeah.
And we were doing that biblical
Yeah.
expression
Yes.
of and a manifestation of what God had done while he was here.
Here.
I felt that's my brother now. He fed, I did too. Okay, I was 2,000 less, but that's all right. We
Yeah.
did it, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. And we felt accomplishment.
Yes.
Took pictures. We did an amazing job.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes. Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Good. Well, I don't know about you, but I feel like some free food right now. I'm Sherry Thompson. This is the OurStory Podcast, and we're sitting up in here at Africa Global Radio. Our story, our growth, our future. We'll be back. Yes, we're back. And we're talking to Dandelion Ghana. We were talking about the earthy pot. I want to get into this because people don't realize how metal in your system can really change your body. It can cause you disease, cancer, all of these things. Tell us a little bit more about this.
In order to understand the earthy pot, you have to understand who the African is in the first place. Before the European or the Portuguese came to Ghana, we were spiritual people. If I say spiritual people, our whole lives revolved around a deity or a certain theothesis. We never got up and did things on our own. I always tell people that those who wrote the Bible were inspired, but Africans are possessed because the deity comes to live within us.
He comes to tabernacle with you,
yes.
And you tabernacle within him. That's Jewish.
Yes.
That's the Jewish, that's Sukkot.
Yes.
That's the Jewish high holiday called Sukkot.
Yes.
Okay? We are tabernacling. He is in us and we are in him. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay?
So
it's not enough to believe in God. You've got to know God.
God, yes.
And how do you know God except he comes and stays with you?
Yes.
You live in your house. He eats your food.
Yes.
God eats your food.
Yes. Yes.
It better be good.
Yes, God eats it. He actually, I wasn't that of a much, I wasn't a good cook. And I had to run this restaurant, and I said, God, I don't know how I'm going to manage this restaurant. I don't know how to cook. I mean, amongst the siblings, I was like, I won't get up and cook. Then God says, I'll tell you what to do, then you do it. So even in my kitchen, my staff will ask, why do you keep on nodding and saying, okay? I said, because God is showing me how to cook this food. So my restaurant was such that we don't cook in mass. Everybody has a different menu, and we cook maybe for 10 people. One has this particular illness, no salt, no sugar. So you have to cook everybody's food separately, and you have to measure it. Customized. And so I needed to depend on God to be able to tell me how to cook it. And that was I didn't go to catering school. My mom went to catering school, but I inherited the restaurant from her, and I transformed
she was talking about all the stuff at the table, the dinner table.
Yeah. And so I had to depend on God to learn how to cook, how he wanted me to cook. And so back to the story about understanding the earthy pot. Whoever sits to make, when you see those who make the pots, their mind, their feet, their hands is in sync. And that's why it's
they're on the same frequency as God.
Yes. So
there you go.
It's like when they are doing it, it's as if they are listening to a voice that is dictating to them. This is not to say that every earthy pot is holy or is wholesome. Yes, it depends on who is doing it.
Because some of the pots, they add lead to it.
Yes.
That's not correct.
That's not correct at all. And if the person, I'm also talking about emotionally, if the person is an angry person and you buy their pots. I went to a place to buy earthy pots, and when she will open it for you and leave. But when she opened it, I saw snakes all over the pots. And this was spiritual, it wasn't physical. And she left and she said, pick whichever one you want. And I panicked, and God said, no, that's why I brought you here, to see that
not everything is wholesome.
Not every pot is how you think it is. Certain pots are, so you have to go to certain people to buy certain pots. And with earthy pots, you don't need to eat in them to get the benefits. If it is holy or if it's wholesome, you can just put it in your room and nothing will come. And if you are a Christian, I am a Christian. So it's like accommodating God. It's just like you accommodating God inside you. And I realized that God told me, you don't have to go into a room or a temple to go and worship me. Even when you have the pots in your room, I can be there with you. I'm like, isn't this idolatry? I was like, God said, no. But I was in a point in my life that I was being attacked because I had something that people wanted.
Yeah.
And it had a lot to do with a lot of money. I didn't have the money, but they thought I did. Maybe spiritually I did, but physically I didn't have the money. And so they kept on sending spirits against me. So I was running for my life, basically. And so I said, how I can't be running all the time. And he said, go and buy this pot. So I went to buy the pot. And he took me to that woman's house, and when I bought the pot and I opened it, I saw the snakes. Like spiritually, I saw snakes all over it, and I was like, no, I can't take these. Like, she'll leave you there to say, take whichever one you want. And then I realized that this woman was wicked. Like, for
something was happening.
Yes, for you to just open it and say, take what you want and go. That means and she wasn't very nice to me. So I just said, okay, now I get it. I'm not buying this pot. He said, okay, go to this place and buy this pot from there.
He is the author
Yes.
of your book.
Yes.
I always ask God, please, you're the author and finisher of my faith. Write me a good book. Okay? You are guiding my footsteps from morning to night. Show me where to go. Show me how to proceed. These are things that you must know.
And if you remember the story in the Bible where Jesus brought out the demons from the pig and he put it into the sea, Jesus accommodated these.
No, he brought them out of a person and put them into the pig, and the pigs went into the sea.
Yeah. So these spirits are all around us. They're there. They need places to go. And not to scare anybody,
but you have to be aware that we are not just living alone in our physical realm. Yes. We are spiritual beings as well.
Yes.
I'm so happy that we're talking about this because not too many people talk about this.
Yes. And the metal, some of these spirits went into the sea, and some also you know where the metal is. Look at where the metal is.
It's in the ground.
It's in the ground. But they want to possess. They want to be part of our physical world. They want to be active. My mother, when she bought this factory, she bought it from, I think it was British. There was a time when the British came to set up factories in Ghana. And everything was tin. And I didn't understand.
Yeah, in a tin.
Yes.
Your biscuits were in tin. Your sardines were in tin. Hey, tin tomatoes. Tin. It's like a cartoon here, yeah?
Yeah. So the way they make the pots, some of those who make the containers, the tin containers, or even the asanka, the metal one, it's not just something they're doing. It's a very spiritual thing they're doing. Some evoke spirits to be part of it. So when you buy it and you cook in them, or even eat in them, you allow those spirits to come and dwell in you. And
you don't know it.
They dominate. If you are not strong, not that if you are not aware, you think that, oh, I'm just doing something. But especially with aluminium, they like spiritually, they like metallic things, gold, silver. So you see that it gives them a lot of money when they work with metals. Look at the boys who do the Aboso kind boys who, look, they'll go anywhere just to have the metal because the metal has a certain
A value.
There is a spiritual side of it.
And you're talking about spare parts.
Yes, and not only spare parts. Anything that anything that has metal in it, they evoke a spirit into it so that it can.
So all of this mining that we're doing now, people rather say that they will keep on mining and they don't care because they're earning a living. And I've said, no, you're earning a dime, but they don't care. There's no value for the idea that you're literally killing yourself.
But that's what it does. It makes you greedy. That's one of the traits. Like if you want to see if this is a good spirit behind the gold, those who have the gold, how much do they care about the environment?
Yeah.
No, they don't care. That's how the spirit, it destroys. It destroys. But the earthy pots, those who make the very good ones, the ones that are very holy, like wholesome ones, when the earth, even when not the normal ones, when it breaks, you can crush them and it becomes part of the earth again.
Yeah.
But
it's not wasted.
It's not wasted. But the metal, even how they get it, destroys so much. But because they are being driven. Look, when the British came to Ghana and they saw the gold, their attitude changed. It's not them. There is a spirit behind the metal. And if you don't know about the theology of accommodation, it goes into most of our forefathers had contracts with these spirits. I'll build a house for you. My grandchildren will come and live in the house. You have every right to possess.
Somebody will take care of
you. Or they want to live inside the human being. So sometimes you'll be buying, maybe you think you're just buying sardine. You're buying a whole something more.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I say that Christ is like, for me, without Christ, I won't be here. Because then you get to see a lot of things, but then
it's revealed.
It's revealed, but he teaches you how to go through it, because you can't be seeing these things and live a normal life. No, you can't.
You can't be normal. You have to go through.
You can't.
Wow.
Yes.
It's really wickedness in high places.
Yes.
You know, people want to know, how in the world can we be so rich in Africa and be so poor mentally? I mean, we have the world's resources. They come to us for everything. And yet we live.
For what's worth, a lot of Africans are not Africans. They are taken over by foreign entities. So they are African in body, but Africans are soulic beings. That's what God called them for me, soulic. So we are like we were created to be priests, to be the space where God comes to inhabit. So when you don't know God, something else takes over. And if it's not a good thing, you see the boys on the street, you think they want to be there. No. It's something that has driven them there.
To there.
And
they don't move anywhere.
They don't move. So in the same way, something that I'm able to go to the slums and make friends easily. I'm able to go to the prisons, and I brought a prisoner to my house and he's now done with university. And I'm like, God, how am I? He said, if you understand what love means, you can reverse what has been done.
Yeah.
And so I'm like the student, and God teaches me how to
love.
Relate, how to love. And I know that you have an advocacy for the loo, like toilet. Most of the time, for instance, these people digging all the gold, some of them don't even live in Ghana. They are not here. But when God sends you somewhere, he makes you see what that place needs and you give it to them. Look at the areas in Ghana. A lot of us, the slums, they build a house, there's no toilet, there's no bathroom. How do we go there and make money and go away and not give back?
Yeah.
And not give back. Just by building a public toilet and making it open for everybody in the community to come to,
at least you have done,
is a way of showing love. Yeah. And that is how God works. And that's why Christ is very different from every other thing. But I also say that don't look down on where we're coming from. I believe in respecting our roots. Sometimes when I'm telling my stories, people say I'm a fetish priest. I said, call me what you like. But I still give respect to the fetish priest who made us understand certain things because, they had a certain understanding of who God was. And that was
And
how
who God
much,
is.
yes, who God is. And that's how much they can see. But we needed the European or the Portuguese to come and show us that, oh, now you can go to God through Christ. And without faith, even the traditional worship, they need faith to be able to worship that particular deity.
Yeah.
So you have to make them understand that, yes, we understand that there was a time that this was helpful. This deity gave you things. It was helpful. But now let me tell you, let me upgrade you that God has already made a way for you as an African to come to him. So why do you stay with, and sometimes we need more than one deity to solve certain problems. We have one for a car, one for a wife, one for a shoe. So some people carry their deities in the back of their car.
Yeah.
But if you have Christ, you don't have to go to, and I tell people, if you want to know about Christ, ask your deity who Christ is, and you will know that Christ is the real deal.
Very good.
Yes.
Very good. Wow. I told you we'd go deep. I didn't lie. This is Africa Global Radio. Our story, our growth, our future. And this is the OurStory Podcast. And we're getting deep. We're going deep into us, who we are as African people. Stay tuned. All right, we're back. And this is Africa Global Radio, our story, our growth, our future. I'm Sherry Thompson, and this is the OurStory Podcast. I'm sitting here with Adiepna Mintah. I know you want me to say all the rest of the names. Adiepna Mintah is how I know you, so we're doing the short form. It's like American taxes. You got the long form, and we're doing the short form. Okay? Yes, I am. I got to tell you, I feel like I went to church, okay? And I've come back, and there's revelation. I'm wanting to really discover and discuss with you your film making. You went to NAFTY to educate yourself, and right now you're going again. You're still educating yourself. See, continual education. Tell me about the filmmaking, the storytelling. You've told us quite a bit of storytelling, but film now gets that whole other thing going. The visuals. You can pull cinematography into this storytelling. So tell us what happened when you started with storytelling and now we're into filmmaking.
Okay, so I started with storytelling because you can tell a story anytime, any day. Without a camera, it will still be told. But God said, no, let's take it onto the screen and do something different. And I said, okay, if you're up for it. And yeah.
You see, y'all don't understand. We understand. We talk like this. I'm like, so what am I wearing today, Daddy? No. He's wear that. I'm like, really? Okay. We have that kind of conversation.
Yeah. So I shot a film. It's a 2-hour film. And it's about motherhood and my journey to motherhood. The kind of person I am, I was brought up in Kwao. So you're brought up to be very business oriented.
Okay.
And right from the time you can talk.
You were selling stuff.
Working hard. I'm so used to hard work, extreme hard work that I thought it was normal until God said, okay, stop everything. I was running 4 companies at the same time and I had 3 children to take care of. Yet I thought it was normal.
And they were a company too.
But God said, okay, stop what you're doing and then become a full-time mother. I said, how am I going to keep my house with no money to? He said, I will show you how. And so when it was time to make a film, it was my story that was put on the screen and how my doubt and how I healed. You know, when I became a mother, I thought, yes, because I have been conditioned to think that if you're a mother, you are in my context, you are good for nothing. I mean, once you say I'm a mother, they say, how do you make money? That's what they will ask.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, mother, I'm a
Yeah,
mother.
yeah,
God
yeah.
provides. But, you know, they think you're a joke if you say that.
This is amazing.
Yes.
It's true.
Yes. But
It's
it's
true.
being a mother.
This is what the European mentality
Yes,
has done to
to
us.
us.
As if we have no value other than if we make money.
Oh, that's you've said it. You've hit the nail on the head. It's true. It's true. So I spent most of the time crying. Sometimes I'll be bathing my kids alone in the house because my husband is, I don't know where he is.
Making money.
Yeah. And then I would just start crying because this felt like it wasn't me. Look, the Amma I know will be traveling somewhere, gone, doing something that I was self-centered. But when I humbled myself for God to teach me a few things, I got the opportunity to see myself as I truly was created to be. And I got to heal from I saw that I had a lot of childhood traumas that hadn't been healed. And God gave me the opportunity to heal myself whilst dealing with my kids. And I didn't know how to raise my children. I can relate when you are old, like a teenager. But before, what happens between 0 and 12?
Teenager.
Yes, I can't handle that. And I said, okay, you know what we're going to do? He said, what? I said, when you want me to get up, say it. When you want me to carry the child, say it. When you want me to dress them up, say it. What dress they should wear. So I was like, I didn't know anything about motherhood. So it was God who told me even who to get married to. I said, if you don't do it, I'll become a nun. And that was the agreement.
You too.
Yeah,
you
I told
to
him.
Be a nun.
Yes, I told him. If you don't bring me someone,
you didn't know. Huh? None.
I'll become a nun.
Okay. Yep. Catholic Church, nun was a possibility. It was possible.
Yes, it's true. It's true. So that's what went into the film. And I remember the first time I showed it, a woman with a child at her back came in and said, now I understand what freedom means.
Yeah.
And I said, what do you think freedom means? She said, doing what is normal is freedom. Because she thought that you had to do whatever you like. No, God created you in a certain way. Unfortunately, if you don't live according to that way, you suffer a lot. And you go, there are so many girls who are raped, abused, because they said, I can do it all by myself. And we find ourselves in places where we are not supposed to be. And going over that trauma of being raped is so painful. And so we need, the mothers in the society need to sit down and say that this is not right.
Right. Now, I want to stop you there. When people look at rape, they don't consider other forms of rape. So I'm going to tell you, because I'm having a situation with my landlord. There are landlords in this country right now raping the women tenants because the women tenants cannot afford the rent. That's traumatic.
Yes, and in the film, I made a final pitch that I didn't have to go and look for work to be able to take care of my children. I rented my home and gave it to people who needed somewhere to stay. And that is how I took care of my children. You know, children don't need cars and things that this world has made us think. All they need is your love. Look, when you are able to tell, there was a time my father didn't have a car. We would walk when we were going somewhere. And it was priceless because he was
you spent
there.
The time.
He was there. And I said, look, I will do it. If I ever find myself there, I will be able to do it. And so this is where we as people have to come together and say that, look, how can we help each other so that the mother who has an extra child to look after, or the family, because it's difficult. When I became a mother, I saw that it's difficult to raise children
Yeah,
and to feed them. But society wants children, but they don't care how you're providing for them.
At all.
And that's why Dandelion Ghana was taxed by God too. So now what we do is that when we find money, we have certain drives. We call them food drives. We give them, like the provision store, we give them certain amount of money every month. So we have mothers, fathers, and those with children. There are women with 4 sets of twins. How are they going to take care of those children? But if you look at Ghana, our economy, the only thing that is stable in our economy, people, is not all those things they are saying. People are constant, and people come here when they need people. Yet we are not taking care of ourselves.
Yeah.
We're seeing the boys on the streets all the time, and we pass by them and not say, how are they bathing? How are they eating? How are they taking care of themselves? Because if we don't take care of them, they will come into our homes and make us feel like they deserve the things in our home.
Yeah.
They deserve it. But how do we train that? So every month, these women go to the drives and take provisions according to, maybe we give them a limit. You take it and you go and feed your family with. But now we want to do what you've been talking about, public toilets. How do we, so when we go into a community, we find out what they need. And we've been sent to North Kaneshie, and we realize that even though it's a beautiful area, there are lots of businesses in the area. Those who live there don't have a place of convenience. How do we just go there and just leave? We have to do something about it.
Yeah.
Even with accommodation. Can we come together to contribute one house for one person? Then we contribute another. We do the susu. One person collects. We buy a house for Mama Lou. We do the susu. One person collects. We buy a house for Adiepena.
Yeah.
Why can't we do that so that we make sure that everybody
has proper housing,
has proper accommodation?
Yeah.
Because we can't continue. In the past, it was like that. But now everybody's like, let's get our own money. Let's chill let's get our cars. Let's sell our bodies. Let's sell our our souls just to get the money. And when we die, where do we
go? What does the money do?
We do. But when we come together as a community, when a few mother or families come together and say, hey, there's this house going for whatever amount. Let's put our money together. We'll buy for you first. We'll all move into that house. The next year we'll buy for this person. Then another family will move in. We keep on doing that till everybody has a house. Accommodation. And that's what Dandelion Ghana is doing now.
Very good. Very good.
Yes.
Wow, we've come full circle. This is the OurStory Podcast. Amma, it was a pleasure having you. You're sorting us out. Our problems, our challenges, we're sorted, my dear. Yeah?
Thank you. I'm glad.
This is the OurStory Podcast, and I'm Sherry Thompson, and we've had a great time sorting ourselves out. This is Africa Global Radio. They have a great time sorting us out because they are our story, our growth, our future. See you next time.